No, I didn't put anything on here. It just looked like that. Excuse me. Anyway, I wanted to go ahead and finish this off really quick with the fact that excuse me, that I had actually had a conversation with one of my military trainers, as well as a teacher, and really really great guy, and kind of sort of, you can call it that. I'm not quite sure what to call these people out there. Anyway, stated that the United States military does not practice democracy; it only enforces it, and it does neither. It also alludes with that statement that the United States Navy does have a hand in the capacity to be able to defend the civilian population, and when it comes to defensive manner, that it does have a strong capability of achieving such a goal, if so chooses, which it did not, because Americans were still freaking dying. And I remember, like, when I was in RTC, we would sit there and we would stand in a circle and sing, it's proud to be an American, at least we know we're free. It took all of my willpower not to break off from that circle and just start punching everybody, just beating the crap out of everybody for fun. Because they really needed it. Because they were doing nothing of the sort. And we even had some girl in there that was from that was apparently a reporter that was actually asmoing herself out. We all knew it. And we were talking about D-Day and what. And I'm like, oh, this is so fascinating. Americans are still freaking dying. So I had to go through that there, and it got worse whenever we got on base, because they had millions of dollars. These military commanders and these military personnel were out there. They were just enjoying the view. I mean, I love machines. I love so much, especially when machines are in motion. Totally bananas about that. Absolutely love machines being in use. And machines out there that were on the military base were physically gathering cobwebs and dust, millions of dollars, and these people were just being casual and smiley and giggly while Americans were freaking dying. That was an NES Pensacola as well as any TTC. And I'm sitting there thinking about these statements and whatnot, looking at these machines. This place could. I was thinking, this place could use a really great bombing, especially when they started having the conversation with me about friendly fragging, and how they would sit there and frag each other on the boats, and they would frag each other in barracks. It was really awesome. It's stuff to learn. You had make sure you had uniforms nice and neatly pressed while Americans were dying, and you were waiting to get fragged by one of your fellow shipmates. We also had a situation where they would sit there, people from other barracks or whatnot, back in the day, they would sit there and describe every detail, and they would shout details about you to the other barracks, like they knew everything about you. And it would be very, very thorough, including right up down to your menstrual cycle. Reading minds, which is actually the technology that was used to attack the United States. These people sit there and they'll use everything. Not only do they use your phone to communicate, of course, to each other, they also use they'll put everything from your toes to your kneecaps to your freaking hips, and even your tits and your head. You name it. You are just game these people need communications, as well as, of course, to take over your home, in order to have a place for their little mind reading butts, illegal butts, to actually have something to do with your life to destroy it. Anyway, looks like my time's running short. This might have to go on YouTube, so I don't have to go so fast. Anyway, no, and let's see what else. Yeah, we were driving all over our fellow Americans' bodies all over New York. It was a really nice thing to see, tread marks all over people's bodies, and nobody was putting out flowers because we were scared to death as to whether or not we were going to die in the streets of New York from these people. We were waiting for the next bombs to fall, because most of us had already been under attack, or a good percentage of us had already gotten our butts kicked. Everybody was pretty casual there, just about as casual as it was in the military. And in the military, little smug little faces with a cute little smile. So most of us wanted to do was just put a bullet in these guys. There was no real engagement on the war of terror at all going on in the United States military. The closest thing that we had was a video game called War and Terror, which was at the recreational area. And of course, we would dance and we would have fun and we would smile and whatnot, while Americans were still freaking dying. And they would sit there and go off about the Ku Klux Klan and eat at a galley and just smile away and be casual. We could stare at the ceiling for hours. Hell, we actually fought a hurricane in Pensacola. Did you know that? We had a hurricane go through, and we had all the emergency rations and everything prepared for a hurricane emergency, while Americans were still freaking dying under attack by these terrorists that were on domestic soil. And I remember, I was dating a Marine back in the day. And he was talking about how he was going to go to Afghanistan. It was a big thing, big deal, that he was going to go overseas to fight an enemy that was on domestic soil because Americans were still freaking dying from these people here in the United States, and nobody was engaging them. Zero. Nobody was engaging them. And, it was kind of a really big pisser. Now, of course, I explained to military personnel, and I wanted, eventually I wanted to get into repairing airplanes and whatnot. Like, oh, you wanted to be proactive, so they tried to kill me for it. And while Americans are still freaking dying, so I can't imagine how many Americans have died since Bozo the Clown wore a uniform and said that the laws come first prior to American lives. I mean, many American citizens have actually, in many instances, not picked up a Social Security check or not picked up food stamps or not picked up Medicare or whatnot in order to actually give money to the United States military to defend themselves and their families, to keep them from to keep them from being killed by these terrorists, and they're still being murdered anyway while you're sitting there laughing about it, jerking off in front of the television or your microphone, or giving your microphone a really great really great head. I mean, you guys are awesome at giving a head to your microphones. I mean, you totally give that thing a lick. It's like watching a giant fat guy masturbate or give another guy head every time you guys speak into your microphones. I've never seen anything like it before in my life. You must really love that fuzzy penis. Each one of you are just sucking on those penises, in a way I've never even seen in my entire life. You are such a charm to watch on television or on the internet or whatever the case may be, just giving your penis head there, talking to all these people and showing off your pretty little outfits and whatnot. You have to dress up really nice in order to give head in public, because that's all you're doing. Everything you're saying is absolute garbage. All you're doing is getting a nice deep throat and showing off how much of a deep throat you can give. We don't give a shit. There I go again. I have to edit that out. Anyway, what else did I want to say? Oh yeah, of course, all these millions and millions of dollars of military equipment that is actually gathering cobwebs, because United States military, from Army, Navy, Marines to Air Force, do not at all enforce, nor protect, nor defend the United States of America and its civilian population. They're just sitting there letting things gather cobwebs, while they sit there and challenge every individual that goes into the United States military with a subtle, unspoken statement of, you attempt to defend this country and we're going to try to kill you, which is exactly what they did to me. Even after watching 2,197 people be cooked by a terrorist network, which of course actually were cooked by the United States military and eaten by them when they embezzled all the money from the United States government, as well as let all the military equipment just go to waste. I think a lot of these bases that have been using the military equipment in order to reinforce Al-Qaeda terrorist groups and terrorist networks should actually have their equipment sold, and those people should be working in bases in the middle of the Sahara. Just either the Sahara or up in Alaska, or up in the North Pole. I think it would be good just to make sure they're not anywhere near American citizens. Right now, California is extremely stable, which is nice to see. They're not being bombed. They are not under attack right now. If they are, it is extremely subtle, which is a very, very good setup for us right now. We are in need of eliminating these people out of our country and closing up anything where they can migrate into without an airplane, and slowly start kicking these people out of the United States and resecure our airports and all of our facilities as fast as we possibly can, and take advantage of the wonderful only non-masturbatory act of the President of the United States, which is to actually erect this wall. And by the way, sir, it is a fantastic erection. Thank you very much, and waiting to see if that thing, whether or not it embraces the base of Texas, and finally ends up being a nice solid foundation in which to actually rescue our frickin' country from these people and from our own stupidity, and get these caps out of here, starting with these kind of people that live around me here, who think they're all that and they're that powerful by having all of this military equipment available to them, just like our military bases, in order to attack and kill Americans in their homes and replace us with illegal immigrants whom they have been using as their own personal army in order to be able to engage in every single type of illegal trade known to the planet. I mean, these people are being tight-lipped and very, very, tight-lipped and kind of tongue-in-cheek type thing when they describe the things that are going on in the United States. It's way worse than that. And no, most of us do not have jobs because we're in the middle of being killed by the police. which is one of their modus operandi, which is the steps that they take, which is keep people out of employment when they are in the processing of being removed by their homes from their homes in order to be replaced by illegal immigrants. The answer is you have successfully erected a wall in California between Mexico. You are surviving. Please spread the kick out. Boot these bastards out of this country right now. And for God's sakes, finally put flowers all over New York in honor of your family members who died on September 11th once and for all. You will not be killed for doing that. Thank you.